Jai Ganesh. Hello students. Welcome to my English class 10 chapter 4 at the high school. This is an extract about Mahatma Gandhi, his life experience, his experience at the high school. It is an extract we know from his autobiography, My Experiments with the Truth. We know Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the father of the nation, the tallest leader of our nation, and who wished, who hoped, who wished, who had the ambition that to wipe every tear from every eyes. He was really the true leader who would give us freedom. Under his leadership, the freedom movement in India, and we achieved freedom with his truth and non-violence, which were his two important weapons. Okay, that's why not only in India but also in the whole world he is renowned as the tallest leaders. Okay, so when Gandhi was asked to say his message by his pupils, he said that my life is my message. So we all should read and learn his autobiography and my experiments with the truth. And this is an extract. At the high school, we have already read part 1, means first four paragraphs of this topic, and in this text, in this class, we will learn the rest, paragraph 5, 6, 7, rest part of this text at the high school. We know this is an extract from his autobiography, My Experiments with the Truth. And he went to Rajkot English School, which became Rajkot High School, and later or after independence to commemorate or memorize or honor Mahatma Gandhi, it became Mohandas Gandhi High School, which is in Gujarat. If we go to Gujarat, if we go to Rajkot, we can see this high school as a museum or as a high school. Okay, so when Gandhi was at the high school, what was his experience, what he learned, what he experienced, everything he himself wrote in his autobiography. We have read, we have discussed, and this is we have also discussed the his headmaster Dorabji Edulji Jimmy was his headmaster, who was very popular among the boys because he was a good disciplinarian, a man of method, and a good teacher. We have all discussed at the high school and the past four paragraphs. Okay, in the paragraph 1, we have discussed the paragraph 1 deals with the rewards and scholarships Gandhi received in his school time. Gandhi enjoyed the affection of his teachers when he was a student. He never had a bad certificate before, had a bad certificate from school. Okay, when he was at school. And he won prizes after second standard. In fifth and sixth standard, he obtained scholarships of rupees 4 and 10 respectively. This shows that he was a good student. He was not regarded or considered as a fool. He thanked good luck more than his merits for his achievements. This shows that Gandhi was humble. Okay. In the paragraph second, we learned that the second paragraph is about his corporal punishment, his character, headmaster, gymnastics, and cricket. He very jealously guarded his character. Building character was more important for Gandhi than winning prizes. He wished to have or possessed a good moral character, which is inevitable. We should learn from his life. He received corporal punishment or physical punishment once in first or second standard. And Vidurji Jimmy was his headmaster. He was famous. He was popular among the students upper class student boys because he was a disciplinarian, a man of method, a good teacher. Okay, his headmaster was a lover of games. He made gymnastics and cricket compulsory for the boys of upper standard. Gandhi hated cricket and gymnastics. He had never played before. It was made compulsory in his school. It was his negligence at school. Gandhi had also the false notion that gymnastics had nothing to do with education. And this was the false notion, false idea which Gandhi did have. And later on, he believed and wrote himself and gave his message that physical training should have much more place in the school curriculum as mental training. So physical training is essential, and we should do have exercise. Okay, and this was what Gandhi neglected. That he neglected training or exercises. Okay, let us discuss. Remember the paragraph three. In the paragraph three, we learned that Gandhi served his ailing father as a nurse, and he was also fined for his carelessness. In the paragraph 3, what we learned, the reason of his dislike for exercise was his keen desire to serve his ailing father after school. He loved his father very dearly and he served his father as a nurse. We all learn from Gandhi that we should serve our parents, our old parents, our ailing parents. It is our first and foremost duty. Gandhi didn't though neglected exercises, but never neglected serving his father. Serving his father was more important for Gandhi than exercises. Okay. Another thing we learned, his request for exemption from exercise was not allowed because the master did not believe what Gandhi said. So Gandhi was fined of 1 or 2 annas being marked absent from gymnastic class on Saturday afternoon. On Saturday afternoon, he had to go and attend the gymnastics class at 4. He did not have watch and the cloud deceived him, means the sky was cloudy. So he did not say anything. He could not attend the class, so he was also fined. And in the paragraph 4, we learned that the paragraph 4 is about remission of the fine and his exemption. He was exempted from exercise. Okay. And Gandhi was convicted of lying. He was fined 1 or 2 annas. Why? So Gandhi was convicted of lying. That means Gandhi could not prove his innocence. He spoke the truth, but he could not prove his innocence to the headmaster. He was fined because he was marked absence and his words, he could not prove his innocence with words. And from this incident, he learned and also taught and gave the message we all should know from his life that a man of truth must also be a man of care. And it was his first and last carelessness in school, he himself wrote. He did not have such a careless one again in school. And the fine was at last remitted it from his faint recollection, he said. And the exemption from exercise was obtained when his father wrote himself to the headmaster saying that he wanted Gandhi at home after school. His willing father wrote to the headmaster that he wanted his Gandhi's service at home after school. So the headmaster could believe the grave situation of Gandhi and his father, so he exempted him from his exercise. We have discussed, we have read these four paragraphs, and today let us discuss the rest part of the second part of the text at the high school, that is paragraph 5, 6, and 7. Okay, let us read the paragraph line by line. But though I was none the worse for having neglected exercise, I was still paying the penalty of another neglect. I do not know Once I got the notion that good handwriting was not a necessary part of education, but I retained it until I went to England. When later, especially in South Africa, I saw the beautiful handwriting of lawyers and young men born and educated in South Africa, I was ashamed of myself and repented of my neglect. I saw that bad handwriting should be regarded as a sign of an imperfect education. I tried later to improve mine, but it was too late. I could never repair the neglect of my youth. Let every young man and woman be warned by my example and understand that good handwriting is a necessary part of education. I am now of the opinion that children should first be taught the art of drawing before learning to write. Let the children learn his letters by observation as he does different objects such as flowers and birds, etc. And let him learn handwriting only after he has learned to draw objects. He will then write a beautifully formed hand. Okay, so let us learn line by line, word by word. So, paragraph 5 is about handwriting. Okay, so but though I was none the worse for having neglected exercise, I am still paying the penalty of another neglect. Okay, so this paragraph shows about handwriting. Gandhi was very truthful throughout his life. Very truly, he had written that he had was past neglect was neglecting exercise, which was not necessary, which was really he himself repented. And another neglect he that he had was still paying the penalty was handwriting. He neglected his handwriting. Okay, he could not write a good handwriting. Okay, so I do not know whence I got the notion that good handwriting was not a necessary part of education, but I retained it until I went to England. Gandhi had a false notion that good handwriting was not a necessary part of education, and it was with him when he went to England to do Bharat law, to read baristry. Okay, when later, especially in South Africa, I saw the beautiful handwriting of lawyers and young men born and educated in South Africa. I was ashamed of myself and repented of my neglect. Okay, Gandhi, when he went to England, did his Bharat law and went to South Africa to practice law. He saw the beautiful handwriting of the lawyers and a young man in South Africa, so he was ashamed. And I saw that bad handwriting should be regarded as a sign of an imperfect education. I tried later to improve mine, but it was too late. Okay, so Gandhi said that bad handwriting should be regarded as a sign of an imperfect education. So, good handwriting is a necessary part of education. So he tried to improve it, but he could not because we can improve our handwriting in our youth, not later on. And I tried later to improve it, but it was too late. I could never repair the neglect of my youth. Let every young man, woman be warned by my example and understand that good handwriting is a necessary part of education. Gandhi advised us, gave us the message through his autobiography himself that the students, you should know that good handwriting is a necessary part of education. No one should avoid, who should avoid, and everyone should take care of handwriting, and we should try our best to write a beautifully formed hand. That is the advice of Mahatma Gandhi to one and all. I am now of the opinion that children should first be taught the art of drawing before learning to write. Let the child learn his letters by observation as he does different objects such as flowers and birds, and let him learn handwriting only after he had learned to draw objects. He will then write a beautiful formed hand. Gandhi advised us, the students, the learners, that how a child can learn and to write beautiful handwriting. How can one write a beautiful formed hands? Gandhi advised that the children should learn to draw objects fast before write the letters or letters. Before writing, the children should know and practice how to draw objects like flowers and birds, and they should carefully write the handwriting with observation. With practice, so that the children can write a beautifully formed hand. Okay, so the paragraph 5 is about handwriting. So Gandhi himself repented that for his bad handwriting, and he gave us advice. He advised the learners, the students, that we should be careful and we should try our best to write a beautifully formed hand. Okay, so let us discuss the paragraph 6. The paragraph 6 is about the subjects Sanskrit, Persian like this. Sanskrit, however, proved a harder task. In geometry, there was nothing to memorize, whereas in Sanskrit, I thought everything had to be learned by heart. This subject was also commenced from the fourth standard. Okay. So, for Gandhi, Sanskrit was a difficult, harder task, but geography was easy. Why? Everything in geometry, one have to or one has to learn by understanding. If one can understand everything, then he can do geometry. Nothing to memorize. But in Sanskrit, everything has to memorize. So for Gandhi, Sanskrit is harder than geometry, because in Sanskrit he knew that he had to learn everything by heart. But in geometry it is easy because everything to do using the understanding. Okay, so Gandhi disliked Sanskrit because in Sanskrit he had to learn a lot. He had to learn by heart, or he had to do cramming or memorize a lot. So Gandhi himself first disliked Sanskrit. As soon as I entered the class 6, I became disheartened. The teacher was a hard taskmaster and anxious as I thought to first the boys. Okay, so Sanskrit was introduced in Standard 4, Gandhi said. And as everything had to be learned by heart to memorize, Gandhi was disheartened when he entered class 6. Okay, and besides his Sanskrit, the Sanskrit teacher was a hard taskmaster and he forced the boys to do these things. So Gandhi was disheartened, was not interested to learn Sanskrit. That he was a hopeless and disheartened. There was a sort of rivalry going on between the Sanskrit and the Persian teacher, and one student has to take Sanskrit or Persian, and Sanskrit and Persian, out of the Sanskrit and Persian, and one has to take the choice as standard 6. And for Gandhi, that the Sanskrit teacher was a hard taskmaster, but the Persian teacher was lenient. The boys used to talk among themselves that that Persian was very easy and the Persian teacher was very good and considerate to the students. And there was a comparison between the Sanskrit teacher and the Persian teacher in his time. There was a sort of rivalry going on between the Sanskrit and the Persian teachers. The Sanskrit teacher was a hard taskmaster. He forced the students, but the Persian teacher was lenient. He was a kind, good, and considerate, and the Persian was also easy. So the easiness of a Persian tempted Gandhi. One day I sat in the Persian class, he sat in the Persian class. When Gandhi sat in the Persian class, the Sanskrit teacher did not feel comfort. He was grieved. The Sanskrit teacher was grieved. He called me to his side and said, "How can you forget that you are the son of a Vaishnava father? Will not you learn the language of your own religion? If you have any difficulty, why not come to me? I want to teach you students Sanskrit to the best of my ability. As you proceed further, you will find in it things of observing interest. You should not lose heart. Come and sit again in the Sanskrit class, you see. When Gandhi sat in the Persian class, the Sanskrit teacher was grieved and he called Gandhi and said that you are the son of a Vaishnava father. You are a Hindu, so you should learn the Hindu scriptures. In order to learn your the Sanskrit books in your religion, you should learn Sanskrit. Okay, so Gandhi was persuaded. Okay, let us read the seventh paragraph or the last paragraph. This kindness put me to shame. I could not disregard my teacher's affection. Gandhi was fond of teachers. He was obliged. He was obedient, and when the Sanskrit teacher put kindness on him, he was to be shame. This kindness put me to shame, and he could not disregard the Sanskrit teacher's affection. So he came again and sat in the Sanskrit class. Today, I can't but thank with the gratitude of Krishna Shankara Pandya. Okay, who was Krishna Shankara Pandya? Was Gandhi's Sanskrit teacher. Gandhi was grateful to Krishna Shankara Pandya. If he was not kind-hearted to him, if he was not kind-hearted to him, if he did not have persuaded him to come to the Sanskrit class, Gandhi would not learn Sanskrit. For if I had not acquired the little Sanskrit that I learned, then I should have found it difficult to take any interest in our sacred books. In fact, I deeply regret that I was not able to acquire a more thorough knowledge of the language. Okay, so Gandhi said that Sanskrit, Gandhi was grateful to the Sanskrit teacher. His Sanskrit teacher, Krishna Shankar Pandya. And for him, he could learn Sanskrit. By learning Sanskrit, he could read and took an interest in our sacred books, which made him know a thorough knowledge about that learn about sacred books about our Hinduism, Gita, Bhagavad, like these things. So the paragraph 6 and 7 belongs to the subjects Sanskrit or Persian or geometry like this, and this is about the Sanskrit and the Sanskrit teacher, Gandhi Sanskrit teacher, Krishna Shankar Pandey. So, okay, let us see. Oh, okay, thank you. Let us see some difficult words or unknown words or unfamiliar words that usually we find in this chapter. So, you see, none of the words means not to be affected by. Beautifully formed hand means a good handwriting. The children are advised by Mahatma Gandhi that everyone should try to write a beautifully formed hand to their best. Had to be learned by heart means it had to be crammed or memorized. Sanskrit has to be learned by heart. Became disheartened, lost interest. When Gandhi entered class 6, he became disheartened with his Sanskrit because he thought that it was a harder task. Rivalry, competition. There was a rivalry between the Sanskrit and the Persian teacher in Gandhi school. Sacred means holy. We should read and go through the sacred books of our religion. Faint means unclear. Gandhi had the faint recollection that he was remitted of the fine. Remitted means exempted. He was exempted or remitted of the fine. Grieved means deeply hurt. The least little the Gandhi was grieved for the kindness of his teachers. Tempted means attracted. The easiness of Persian tempted Gandhi to sit one day in the Persian class. Regret means feel sad. Gandhi's Sanskrit teacher Krishna Shankara Pandya regretted because Gandhi sat in the Persian class. Okay, so let us do the activities. Activity 1, let us do paragraph wise. Answer all the questions. So what was the other neglect Gandhi talked about? The other neglect Gandhi talked about was handwriting. What was his earlier notion on handwriting? His earlier notion on handwriting was that handwriting was not a necessary part of a good education. When and whence did he realize that his notion was wrong? When he went to England and South Africa to practice law, he saw the beautiful handwriting of the lawyers and the young men born and educated in South Africa. He was ashamed. He realized that he was wrong. What was his views on handwriting? His views on handwriting was that we should all try our best to read and to write a beautiful handwriting. Or good handwriting is a necessary part of education. How should the children be taught to write a beautifully formed hand? The children should be taught to draw objects like flowers and birds like them. Then they should start writing words. Okay, then so that they can write a beautifully formed hand. Paragraph 6. Why did Gandhi consider Sanskrit harder than geometry? Gandhi considered Sanskrit harder than geometry because in Sanskrit everything had to be learnt by heart, but in geometry nothing to memorize. Only using brain or understanding. Which class was Sanskrit introduced in? Sanskrit was introduced in class 4 or standard 4. What did Gandhi say about Sanskrit and Persian teachers? Sanskrit and Persian teachers were there was a rivalry between the Sanskrit and Persian teachers. The Sanskrit teacher was a hard taskmaster. He forced the students to take this subject, but the Persian teacher was lenient, was kind-hearted, and good and considerate. Were they on good terms? No, they were not on good terms. Who was the Sanskrit teacher? Krishna Shankara Pandya was Gandhi's Sanskrit teacher. What tempted him to sit in the Persian class? The easiness of a Persian tempted Gandhi to sit in the Persian class. Why did the Sanskrit teacher think it necessary for Gandhi to study Sanskrit? The Sanskrit teacher thought that it was necessary for Gandhi to learn Sanskrit because Gandhi was the son of a Vaishnava father. He should learn Sanskrit so that he could read the sacred books of his religion. Why did Gandhi come back to the Sanskrit class? The kindness of the Sanskrit teacher Krishna Shankara Pandya put him back to the Sanskrit class. Who was his Sanskrit? Was his Sanskrit teacher? Krishna Shankara Pandya was his Sanskrit teacher. How did the study of Sanskrit help him later? The study of Sanskrit helped him later to learn and read the sacred books in Hinduism. Let us do the activity 2. Answer in a word or a phrase. What was Gandhi's another neglect besides exercise? Handwriting. What did he repent of? He repented of the neglect of his handwriting. Whose beautiful handwriting did he see in South Africa? He saw the beautiful handwriting of the lawyers and young men born and educated in South Africa. What, according to Gandhi, should be regarded as a sign of imperfect education? According to Gandhi, A bad handwriting should be regarded as a sign of imperfect education. How should a child learn letters? A child should learn first to draw objects like flowers and birds. Then he should learn letters by observation. Who was Gandhi's Sanskrit teacher? Krishna Shankara Pandya was Gandhi's Sanskrit teacher. Why was Gandhi disheartened to learn Sanskrit? Gandhi was disheartened to learn Sanskrit because in Sanskrit everything had to be learnt by heart. What tempted Gandhi to sit in the Persian class? The easiness of Persian tempted Gandhi to sit in the Persian class. How did the study of Sanskrit help him later? The study of Sanskrit helped him later to go through the sacred books of our religion. Why was Gandhi grateful to his Sanskrit teacher? Gandhi was grateful to his Sanskrit teacher that if he was not so kind enough, he would not learn Sanskrit in his school and he would not be able to read or go through the sacred books of our religion. Fill the blanks with the suitable words. Gandhi felt ashamed of his bad handwriting. A sort of a rivalry was going on between the Sanskrit and the Persian teacher. Gandhi was the son of a Vaishnava father. Krishna Shankara Pandey was Gandhi's Sanskrit teacher. Due to knowledge in Sanskrit, Gandhi showed interest in sacred books. The Persian teacher was lenient. Sanskrit was introduced in fourth standard. Good handwriting is a necessary part of education. There is nothing to memorize in geometry in Sanskrit. Everything had to be learnt by heart. Let us do the matching. Match the word under A with their meaning in under the column B. Written here means I matches A. Written here means uphold. Repented second is I double I A. Repented means felt don't. Third I disheartened means E. Lost interest, disheartened. I be lenient, B is liberal. B sacred, is holy. Okay. And VI regret stands for feel sad. Okay. So let us do the summary what we learned from the both the two chapters. Okay. Or the two parts of the text. Let us do summarize the text at the high school. The first paragraph is about the prizes and scholarships Gandhi used to own in his schooling when he was a student. The paragraph 2 is about his headmaster, his popular headmaster, and gymnastics and cricket which were made compulsory in his time. And the paragraph 3 is about his carelessness in his life, in school time. He was marked absent in gymnastics class on Saturday afternoon and he was fined. The paragraph 4 is about the convicted of lying. Gandhi was convicted of lying though he could not prove his innocence and he learned from that a man of truth must also be a man of care. And he had the faint recollection that the fine was remitted. And when he headmaster, his father wrote to the headmaster, his exercise was also exempted. And paragraph 5 is handwriting. Gandhi neglected his handwriting and advised all the learners that we should not neglect our handwriting. We all should try our best to write a beautifully formed handwriting. Okay. Paragraph 6 is about the subjects and teachers. Subject means Sanskrit and Persian and Sanskrit teacher and Persian teacher. Paragraph 7 is Sanskrit teacher. How Gandhi was obliged to the Sanskrit teacher. Okay, what we learn from Gandhi's life experience? Building character was more important in life. The building character is very important in our life. We learn from Gandhi's autobiography that we should possess a good moral character, and from school life we should build up our character. Second thing, physical training is as much important as mental training. We should learn, we should give much more stress on physical training as much as mental training. Okay, and thirdly, a man of truth must also be a man of care. We should be responsible. We should have responsibility. We should have carefulness, and good handwriting is a necessary part of education. And we all should learn Sanskrit to read our holy scriptures. So all these things we learn from the text. I think we have understood and learned very nicely. Go through the text and do the activities exercises. If you like it, you please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you, everybody. Best of luck.